What are we going over today?
Today, the secret of why all the meat processing plants are shutting down across the country.
Excellent. And that is what we're going over today. And this is a very important subject because they're just starting to cover this on the news. And this is where we're going over this. It is because they're having trouble at the meat processing plants. In case you don't know, around 25% of all the pork processing plants in the country has been shut down. And around 15% of all the beef processing plants have been shut down. And they're having problems because the workers are getting sick. Okay. And they'll probably have to shut down more and more cases. Now, is this just one or two people getting sick? No, this is massive. At one plant alone, there is several hundred people who are sick.
And because of the coronavirus.
Because of the coronavirus.
Right. Okay.
Because what is going on? See, these meat processing plants, a lot of people don't know how meat is processed today. They still think that meat is processed the old-fashioned way. These are industrial plants. Some of these pork processing plants, you have as many as 1,200 pigs coming in one end.
Okay.
And you got bacon and ham and everything coming out of the other end and sausage. And you don't want to know what's going on in between those 2 points. You really don't want to know.
Okay.
Okay. Because everything goes on between those two plants. And some of these plants have 2,000 to 3,000 employees in those plants. Mm-hmm. And in those plants, a lot of the workers are getting sick. Some of these plants got hundreds of cases. And they don't want to test the people. The people are getting sick. And there is a reason why this is happening, why they want to keep this under the radar. And this is why they're just starting to cover this now. Is because, see, before, a lot of diseases came from animal and went to people. This is where we got corona from. It came from bats. And the bats got the bats, and we got it from bats. When we had swine flu in Mexico around a decade or two ago, it was the pigs got sick and then the humans got sick.
Okay.
This virus is doing something that is very weird. The people are getting sick, which is maybe causing the animals to get sick. They're not sure if the animals are getting sick because of us, or maybe there's just one sick person in the plant who is contaminating the meat. Okay. And the meat is getting contaminated. And as they work on this meat, because the meat is living tissue. That's what we eat. And when the meat get infected as it goes down the assembly line and other people touch the infected meat, mm-hmm. they're getting infected. Okay. You get what I'm saying? And this is why you have hundreds of cases mm-hmm. in these processing plants. Now, this doesn't seem to be a chicken problem. For some reason, this problem only is affecting beef and pork, and especially pork.
Especially pork.
Okay. You know, for some reason, this virus loves pork meat. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they're having a very hard time with pork processing plants. They're now putting all kind of barriers between each employee. They're doing everything. But all it takes is just one person to be sick. They contaminate the pork. Mm-hmm. And it goes throughout the entire plant. Now, why is this happening? Is because most people do not know. When they think of humans, they believe that we are close to apes. That's what everybody always say. Us and monkeys are very close.
Right, because we have, 96.8% DNA or something,
okay.
Right?
But this is not exactly true. You cannot take primate organs or gorilla organs and put them inside of a person. Okay. They do not work. You cannot take monkey or gorilla blood and put it inside of a person. It does not work. But for some strange reason that proves we're a manufactured species, we're going to talk about that on a different day. We was assembled. Okay. You can take, no science can explain this. Okay. You can take cow blood and sterilize it and you can inject cow blood into a human being. Why is that? Nobody knows. We're not related to a cow. This is why in India cows are sacred, because they knew this long time ago. Okay. They believe that a person can reincarnate as a cow or as a person, because you can actually use cow blood in a person. Mm-hmm. Why is that? How come you can't use monkey blood in a person? How come you can only use cow's blood? It makes no sense. Okay. So us and cows are kind of close. Another thing they don't want to talk about. You can't put monkey or cow's organs inside of a person, but you can take pig organs and implant them into a person. They will take. The only problem is they have not been able, for some weird reason. Mm-hmm. First they was thinking, pigs have worms. Yes. They was thinking that the worms was being introduced into the pigs. So they have tried to raise pigs in super sterile conditions. And I don't care how sterile the conditions are, worms are still in the meat.
Right. And that's why we shouldn't eat it.
Okay. Now, the reason they was trying to raise sterile pigs is because what no science can answer, pig organs do work in the human body. You can put a pig heart inside of a person and it will function. The problem is the person will develop worms and it will kill the person. If you could figure out how to get the worms out of the heart, you could actually use pig hearts inside of people. Now, why is that? We don't look like a pig. Maybe that's why the Jews, when they was told in the Bible, do not eat pork. Because I'm going to tell you something that's in the Urantia book. Okay. This is very scary. This is going to scare a lot of people. It's going to scare Lisa a lot.
Yes, it says.
Okay.
Do not eat
unclean
meat.
People think if you're a cannibal that the human body tastes like chicken. If you read books that talk about that subject, and I'm not going to say which books that is, Necronomicon is one of them, but there's other books that talk about cannibalism and things like that, and there's certain movie stars that talk about cannibalism and how eating human flesh is good for you. We're not going to talk about Katy Perry or anybody else. We're not going to mention no one's name. But anyway, what do the human body taste like if you was to eat human meat? We all been told tastes like chicken. It tastes like pork. Okay. Why is that? How come they don't want anybody to know that? Maybe that's why it was forbidden for Jews to eat pork. Because being a cannibal and eating human flesh and eating pork, the taste is almost identical. Now, I'm not telling you should go and cut off your arm and fry it and make your little, ham sandwich or whatever. But this is what human flesh tastes like. If you don't take my word, there are still cannibals in the world in some of these tribes. Okay, now.
Fried human. Like fried
excellent.
Spam.
You can make jerky. Okay, yeah. Whatever. And this have happened on several occasions with some of these people. There are more cannibals. I'm going to get in trouble for the saying this.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Don't want to get banned.
In Russia, there was a lot of cannibals during World War II. Okay. And in Russia, they've been having this problem ever since World War II of finding people that kill people and eat them. Because during the worst parts of World War II, some people, the Nazis was killing everybody. Some people made it for a year or two with no food, no nothing, no anything.
And they were starving.
They were starving. They found something to eat during World War II when there was nothing to eat. There was no food, but there was
But
a
there
lot
was your
of
friend.
dead soldiers.
There
You
was
get
your-
what I'm saying, don't you?
There was
Okay.
your friend right beside
That's
you.
called carne meat, okay? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? And after World War II, they still come across in Russia more cases than cannibalism than anywhere else in the world because of these people that discovered that if there was nothing to eat except for dead soldiers, you know, you got to eat something. You get what I'm saying, don't you? Okay, so... I'm not telling you.
Calls for desperate
desperate
measures.
measures. Maybe if this coronavirus get out of hand,
Right.
that neighbor that's been bothering you for a long time. I'm not telling you what you should do, but I'm just. Oh my gosh, this is too. My hands are already shaking.
You're
Okay,
crazy.
you get what I'm
You're
talking
crazy.
about. Okay.
Okay.
But this is really bad. Now, because of that, this is why the coronavirus is dealing with the beef and with the pork, because the coronavirus, like humans, is not affecting. Cats can catch coronavirus. Most animals are immune to the problem that we're having with the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. The only animal that we know that can catch it, besides for humans, mm-hmm. is cats can catch coronavirus too. And this is why they're shutting down a lot of zoos. And they're telling people, if you have cats, mm-hmm. you should have indoor cats or outdoor cats. You should not have cats that's going in and out, because your cats can catch the coronavirus and bring it into your home.
Just like we can.
Okay. Yes. Now, there's no cases of dogs catching coronavirus. But for some reason, that's 3 weird animals. Yeah. So it's cats, pigs, and cows. Okay. It's not monkeys. It's not gorillas. Mm-hmm. It's, okay, what's going on there? You get what I'm talking about? Yeah. This is why you got these rumors, which I don't believe is true. And bats can catch it too. That's where it came from. Yeah. So that's a weird combination. Yeah. Bats, cats, pigs, and cows. Okay. That's the reason some people believe that there was some stuff that was mixed together in a laboratory somewhere. But we ain't going there. Okay. I believe the official account that this is from nature. Okay. But that's a weird combination of 4 animals which can catch this disease. Mm-hmm. Bats, cats, pigs, and cows. Okay. Those animals have nothing to do with each other. That's a very strange combination. Now,
someone says, I thought dogs and cats carried the virus, but humans can transfer it to them.
Yeah, because most cats are not getting it. You have to run into an infected person. So if a cat has the coronavirus, it can infect another cat. Okay. And this is why cats are very, you have to be wary about cats when it comes to respiratory diseases. Because unlike dogs can breathe out of their mouth. Cats cannot breathe out of their mouth. Cats must breathe through their nose. And if cats catch a respiratory disease, it will kill them. Because if they cannot breathe through their nose, they will die. Okay. Cats cannot breathe through their mouth. Okay, so far we haven't had the problem of infected cats affecting other cats. Mm-hmm. The cats that have coronavirus in America, just like there's several cats in several zoos throughout the world that have it, they have caught it from infected people working at the zoo that gave it to the cats. Okay.
Is the Brownsville Zoo closed? Probably.
All the zoos are closed.
All of them.
All the zoos are closed. Okay. Because they don't want the chance of this disease not only spreading to there, there might be another animal that we don't know about yet. And if you're hanging out at the zoo and doing the zoo petting and whatever, maybe there's another animal that needs to be added to this list. Okay. We only know of 4 animals so far. Okay. We don't need a 5th one. So that's the reason all the zoos are closed. You're not supposed to be petting the llamas or whatever, and but whatever. But the 4 animals we know that can catch coronavirus are the following: bats, cats, pigs, and cows. Okay. So, if you're working in that plant maybe the cows are not, and the pigs are not infected. But if you have a sick employee, remember, 25% of all the people who have coronavirus show no symptoms. This is the reason why they want everybody to wear a mask. Okay. Yep. And if you're working in one of those processing plants showing no symptoms, you can infect the meat. You get what I'm saying? And then as the meat go down the assembly line, you're going to infect all the workers who are touching that meat. Now, how come they can still sell the meat at the grocery stores? Lynn, they're not pulling the meat. No, they're not, because as long as coronavirus don't like heat. As long as you cook the meat, you should kill the virus.
Okay.
So, for those who like their steaks medium rare, you need to forget about that for the next several months.
Well done.
You need to cook it well done. Okay. If you see any red, you need to flip it over one more time. Okay. Because coronavirus can live in beef, it can live in pork. But heat kills it. Okay. So if you cook the meat, it kills the virus.
Okay.
Okay.
So you don't think they're going to start pulling the meat?
No, they are not. Okay, they know.
I read something about the chicken. One brand of chicken they're going to stop.
Okay. With chicken again, I haven't heard of chicken with coronavirus. Chicken carries salmonella and several other diseases. But again, that's the danger of raw chicken. That's the reason with chicken, you're supposed to only eat it if it's very well done because of salmonella and other things. But there have been no problems at the chicken processing plants. There's even a plant that makes dog food that is shutting down because they was using straps from beef and it got it affected. Now, dog food is cooked. You get what I'm saying? Now, the cooking process should kill the bacteria. And even if it is chicken, as long as you're cooking it. Now, this is the problem with things that are not going to be cooked. This is why, you need to be careful of things that are not cooked for right now. So this is the problem they're having in the grocery stores. Is not a problem of pulling the meat because it's infected. Their problem is, since these processing plants are closing down because of hundreds of cases of sick workers, it's creating a shortage of meat in the grocery stores because 25% of all the pork processing plants have been shut down. And 15% of all the beef processing plants have been shut down. That's creating a shortage of meat at the grocery stores. Now, you would say that's going to make the prices what they call spike or go up. You would think this is good for the farmers because the farmers and ranchers, since the price go up, you're going to say, oh, that's good for them. But this is, in this case, is not good for them because they have cows and pigs that they want to take to slaughter. But with the slaughterhouse closed, they cannot take their cows and pigs to the slaughter. And this is basically a pig problem because with pigs, your pigs you want as big and fat as possible. But the slaughterhouses are set up to take a pig of only a certain size. It has to be a minimum size and a maximum size. Some of these pigs now, because the processing plants are running behind, are going beyond the size that they will fit into the slot. So they're going to have to start euthanizing the pigs because they're going to be too fat to fit into the slot. Because with a cow, I guess you can wait it out. But with a pig, it's going to keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And the slots at the slaughterhouse is made for a pig of a maximum size. So pig farmers are running out of time. If they don't hurry up and solve this problem, they're going to have to start euthanizing their older pigs because they're going to be too big to fit in the slots and there's no way to solve that for now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, excellent. So, and if you're a farmer, even though you get paid by weight, if the slaughterhouse is not accepting any pigs or cows, how you're going to get paid? Because they're shut down. Mm-hmm. So the price per pound is up, but you can get your pigs or cows to market. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm talking about? So this is bad for the farmers. It's bad for us because one thing that have happened since we have had quarantine, alcohol sales have spiked. Yep. And meat sales have spiked. We're using a lot more meat than we was before the quarantine. People are eating at home a lot more, and they're eating a lot more carne meat. Okay.
Cooking every day.
Yeah. So the demand for meat in America has gone way up. The demand for alcohol in America has gone way up. Okay. But now they're having a shortage. So if you're going to buy meat, the price is only going to go one direction until they can solve this problem.
Mm-hmm. So Lynn is warning you.
Okay, but remember, before you go and stock up on all this meat, some of this meat might be infected. But if it's infected, as long as you cook it well done, you probably need to wash your hands a few times before and after you touch this raw meat, which you're supposed to be doing anyway. Right? When you touch raw meat, you're supposed to be washing your hands, not licking your fingers after you cutting your steaks and doing things like don't be licking your fingers. Okay. You need to wash your hands. This meat might be a little bit infected. Okay. But as long as you cook it well done, you should be able to kill the virus.
Or we could go vegetarian, like we talked on our other show.
Okay, I guess you can go vegetarian, then you don't have to worry about this, right? Okay, but even if you're vegetarian, you have problems. Okay, now we're going to talk to these people. Since she's mentioned it, we was going to mention this later, we'll do it now. What? The problem is, remember, 25% of everyone who is infected with the coronavirus show no symptoms. So, you have those farm workers out in the fields picking the crops. If there's infected farm workers that's picking the crops, if they're picking green beans or corn or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. If the corn is a little bit infected, when you cook it, you will kill the virus. Correct? The problem is, if they're picking things like oranges and things like that, you're safe because you're going to peel the orange. The problem is, it keeps coming back to the same issue. Mm-hmm. If there's a sick person picking lettuce, things that do not get cooked, you could potentially catch it through the food because you cannot, kill it if you got affected lettuce.
Okay, so are you just trying to scare everybody?
Okay, the problem is, this is why they keep stressing we need more testing in America. Because without testing, we have no way of knowing who's infected or who not. Remember, 25% of the people that have coronavirus show no symptoms.
Asymptomatic.
They're asymptomatic. Okay, I could have it, she could have it, you could have it. And so we do not know. And the problem they're finding out today, which I told you before, officially the coronavirus came in March.
No.
Right?
Well.
That is when they started shutting down everything. Because it entered America, they say, right at the beginning of March. Okay, and that's when they started closing everything down. Okay. They now know that coronavirus was circulating in February. Yeah. There's some research that said it might have even entered through California as early as January. Yeah. Now, this creates massive problem because if you talk to a lot of people, if you talk to a lot of hospital workers, Lynn Livsey was sick as a dog in February. There was a lot of people who were sick in January and February. We had influenza. We had this. There was no coronavirus testing back in those days.
Right.
A lot of people died of pneumonia in January and February. They're not counted as coronavirus victims. They're counted as influenza victims. We didn't have a coronavirus test back then. And in February, when Lynn was sick as a dog, my chest was so congested. At night, I had to sleep on my stomach because if I slept on my back, I could barely breathe. Was that coronavirus? What was going on there? Okay, I don't know. And if you start talking to people, a lot of people were sick in January and February. Yeah. That was officially before coronavirus came in March. Yeah. And this is why they do not want to test us. This is why the reluctance of the government to test. They keep saying if you need a test, you can get one. But if you need a test, you got to show symptoms. You got to do this. You got to, because they don't want to give you a test. They really don't want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have a relative who was at work and she was coughing because she has allergies.
Okay.
And they told her, you cannot come back to work until you get tested, right?
Okay.
Okay. So she goes home, she does the procedure, what you're supposed to do. Well, guess what? They told her, we can't test you because you don't have the correct symptoms.
But Trump said if you want a test, you can get a test.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Okay.
One thing that happened to
This is the problem.
us.
So what did I have in February? I don't know. I was sick as a dog. I was still working at the flea market every day. Yeah. I was coughing. I was this. I had a fever. I had a lot of things. I was at the flea market every day. You know. Yeah. But of course I didn't give it to any of my customers. Of course not. I wouldn't do that because I'm a nice guy. Okay. Right? Okay. I guess. So who knows what's going on? Okay. And this is what's wrong with these symptomatic people. You do not know, and we still not know. They do not want to test. Okay.
And they say assume everybody has it.
Right. But the reason they don't want to test is because they want to keep the official number as low as possible. What is the official number? Since March, 56,000 people in America has died. That's the official number. Mm-hmm. Now, if they start going back and checking, and that number could be 80,000, 100,000, who knows what the real number is? Yeah. And this is the problem they're having in nursing homes and other places. Yeah. When you're old in the nursing home and you die, he was old, he just died. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay, they're not doing tests. Yeah. And when they start testing the people at nursing home, they're surprised that 30, 40, 50, sometimes 60% of the people have it.
Yeah.
And in Ohio, they ran a test.
And everyone's locked out. They can't see their relatives. You know?
This is what is scary. In Ohio, they wanted to see how many prisoners had it. Mm-hmm. So in one prison, they decided to test all the people in the prison to see what the rate was. They thought it would be 5%, 10%. When they test everyone in the prison, 73% of the people in that prison in Ohio had coronavirus. They're never going to do another test like that ever again. Okay, you know what I'm saying, don't you? They don't. Remember, hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Okay. So at a lot of prisons, at a lot of nursing homes, at a lot of everything, veteran places,
who knows?
Unless you're can't breathe or this or that, they're not giving you no test. Yeah. They do not want to know what's going on. They just don't want to know.
And they've told people, even if you do have it, stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Yes.
They've told us that.
And I know of one or two people that has been quarantined in their home. They never got an official test. Right. They told them to stay home for 14 days. Right. And if you get worse, then call this number. Right. Okay. And of course they're not going to call the number because if you call that number, you know what's going to happen. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then after 14 days, they allow you to go back to work. But they never gave you a test.
Right. And so, my question is, too, do these people really stay in their house and stay quarantined?
Okay.
Or do they go out to the grocery store where you're shopping?
Well, that's essential shopping. Remember, going to the grocery store, that's essential. Going to the liquor store, that's essential. Right? Walking your dog, that's essential. You got to do these essential things.
So,
right?
It's really crazy.
Okay.
If you just sit and think about it.
And this is why in China, we all saw the videos where they was dragging a person out of their house and everybody's fighting and yelling because they was trying to get the sick person away from their family. In America, if you're quarantined, they send you home to be with your family. Okay. They're not quarantining you away from your family. They're not pulling the sick person out of the house to protect the family. They send you home to be with your family. Mm-hmm. What is that all about? Okay. And since we're talking crazy, let's talk real crazy. We was already talking about, the pork's infected, the beef's infected. Okay, your cat might be infected. Lynn Livsey might be infected. Okay, there's no test out there. Nobody knows what's going on. Okay, your lettuce might be infected. There's a lot of things out there that is just very scary. Then they keep talking about how these black people are just falling over dead and now these Hispanics are just falling. No, this is not about color. The thing, who is falling over is this. Poor people are falling over. If you're black and poor, white poor, Mexican poor, poor is like a disease. Because you don't have the money, you don't have the health care, you're not in the best of health, you're diabetic, you got high blood pressure, you got this and you got that. And by the time you get into the hospital, you already half dead. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This disease is killing off a lot of poor people. Okay. And then you wonder why the government is not wanting to do anything. Okay, the poorer you are, the more likelihood of you dying of coronavirus. And when you get in these big cities, like in New York City, in places like Brooklyn and in Queens, where you have a lot of very poor people, it's just taking out entire city blocks. And people are but think, the more poor people that die, the less welfare there will be after the virus. Now, I'm not saying this is going together, but isn't it strange that a lot of people in nursing homes and older people are dying, and those people get checks every month, and as these people die, there's just less checks have to be mailed out every month. Isn't that amazing? But I'm not saying anything. I wouldn't imply that's the reason they're not checking the nursing homes and things like that, because that person get that check and they've been sitting in that nursing home for 10 years. They might live another 10, 20 years in there. And they just get that check every single month. And then they can stop the check now. She died last week. Okay.
So.
It's amazing. The problem is being poor is hell. If you're poor, you don't have to worry about going to hell. Being poor is a type of hell. Okay. And no one seems to care. And unfortunately, this is really bad. So if you are poor and you don't have access to health care and you don't have access to this and that, and you understand what I'm saying, don't you? And this is the problem in New York City. They're saying, New York City had one of the highest homeless populations in the United States. A lot of the homeless are gone now. Mm-hmm. They just happen not to make it. No one really cried. You get what I'm saying? And this is why in New York City they're doing mass graves now. Because a lot of these people that are dying, they didn't have any relatives. It was just that guy that lived in that alley, or just the guy that lived behind that store, or he was sleeping under the bridge.
Sad.
They just put you in a mass grave. He
Okay.
very, very sad. What you got to say?
Beverly was asking, what about the people who get reinfected?
Okay. The problem is they've been trying to stress this thing about you. If you catch it one, you have what's the word? Immunity. Okay. Now we're doing big testing in America about this. What people don't know, this is why your friend Trump, who signed, we got our checks with his signature on there. Okay. He hates the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization said 2-3 weeks ago that the immunity to the coronavirus does not exist. Okay. You can catch it multiple times. But we hate that organization. We're not going to believe anything. See, a lot of things that we're trying to study now, when we first came out about a lot of these medicines that people have been pushing on TV and everything, these medicines go around the world. A lot of these things, the World Health Organization will come out immediately and said, we ran a trial on that drug 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It didn't show any results. And then we spend millions of dollars in America doing these same tests over again. And then we say, we proven that it didn't work. The World Health Organization already told us this. The World Health Organization is saying now that there's no that there's no, what is the word? Immunity?
Yeah.
To this virus.
Yes.
You can catch it multiple times. And they're saying that this disease will come back in the fall. When temperature drops. Because,
and on top of the flu.
Right, because this disease hates heat. So it's going to hide from the heat during the summer. And when the temperature drops, going into the fall, going into the winter, that's going to be called party time. The World Health Organization have already said this. We're saying, it's going away, and once it's gone, it's going to be over, and we can open up. Okay, Trump announced today he wants to reopen all the schools. We're going on May 1st, and he wants to reopen all the schools in the country. Don't the kids get out in June, or are they going to go, we'll go through the whole summer going to school? Okay. Did he talk to the governors about this? A lot of governors, excluding the governor of Texas, have already announced that schools are closed for the rest of the year.
Right.
Okay. We're just making this up as we go along. We don't know what's going on.
Every day.
Day by day it changes.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It really does.
And in Texas, our great governor said starting on Monday, we don't have to wear masks anymore. But in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, there's 700 cases. Okay.
We haven't even,
I thought the valley would get up to maybe 300-400 cases if it got bad. I never thought the valley would get up to 700 cases. And it's not even slowing down now.
Right. It's not.
Every day they say it's another 15, another this, another 20, another 18. Okay, we might go up to 800-900. And now that they're going to start reopening everything, that's called party time. But hey, you can't be afraid of death. If you die, at least you died with some money in your pocket or whatever. Now, I'm not one of these people. She is. She has her mask on.
I do.
I wear my mask like a necklace. I wear it around my neck. Okay, and what I'm saying, it's not here. It's down here around my neck. Now, I put it on when I go in a grocery store, when I'm around a group of people.
Fashion statement.
It's a fashion statement. I am not driving in my car with my mask on.
Okay. No. If I'm alone, I don't drive with it on.
I'm telling you. Okay. Hopefully there's no law enforcement people listening in, because you're supposed to wear your mask at all times. My mask is on around my neck. It is not on my face. But if I'm going to...
I got in trouble. Did I tell you what happened?
No.
I was in HEB, and I had my mask on, and you know, it was just a little below my nose.
And they jumped.
And the cop said, pull your mask up over your nose.
Okay, that was her verbal warning. You don't get more than one of those.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, that's right. You gotta have it.
Let me take a breath. Let me, you know.
Okay,
Please.
but mine, I only put it on around a group of people. Now, according to our governor, he's going to start opening the malls and things.
On Friday.
Okay.
I think May 1st.
Okay.
When is that? Friday?
On Friday.
Yeah,
Is May
I
1st.
think Friday.
Now, I am not, you know, if I was going to go around a crowd of people, I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And in Texas, that restaurants are going to start opening. It's safe for you to eat in restaurants, but your waitress have to wear a mask at all times. So she's going to walk up to your table. You don't need to wear a mask, but she needs to wear one. Okay. That tells you something's not right there. Okay. Because if it's safe for you to eat in that restaurant, how come she has a mask on? Okay. Something's not right with that picture. Because if it was safe, she wouldn't need a mask. Right? So, it's going to take us some time to get back. You know, I believe maybe in June or something. But the problem is, as soon as they start opening everything up in June, July, where it's safe, then in the fall, it's going to make that runaround.
So my advice is, right now, get you a little supply closet, little room, and, you know, slowly put things in that supply closet so that when it hits again, we will not all panic like we did the first time.
Right. And this is what they're talking about, the new normal.
Right.
This is how we're going to have to live. Remember, they think this is going to be the same it was in 1917, 1918. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Spanish flu went around the world 3 times.
Right.
It might have went around the world 20 times, but after 3 times, everyone already had it. So it wasn't killing hardly anybody anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, this one has looped the world once. It's going to start its second time around the block.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to be prepared.
What they're trying to do is make a vaccine.
Yes.
Now, the vaccine they're rushing, and the problem we're having with the vaccine is that unlike with Ebola and with swine flu, where the world got together and all the smart SOBs in the world got together and worked on. No, we cannot work together this time because we can't trust anybody. So the Americans are working on a test. The Germans are working on a test. The Chinese are working on a test. Everybody is reduplicating. What in the hell? Okay. This is supposed to be 2020. We don't need 50,000 people trying to do the same thing. How come we can't work together like we did with Ebola, with swine flu, H1N1? The whole world got together and worked on this project. But today, no. No. We want an American test. We don't want to use the European test. We don't want the French test. Okay. This is why we can't get nothing done. We are human beings. We need to pull together and fix our problems. This is not an American problem, a Brazilian problem, a Chinese problem. It's a human being problem. We need to fix this. We don't need 50 different countries working on 50 different tests at the same time. This is crazy. Okay, but this is what is taking so long. But even when a vaccine is created, a lot of people are not going to take it because everybody already been told that they're going to put microchips inside of the vaccine. And if you get the vaccine, it's going to be the mark of the beast. And then you're not going to go to heaven because, okay, oh my gosh, this doesn't even make any sense. How are you going to put a microchip in a vaccine and they're going to, okay. Now, if that's why you're going to stay up at night and not be able to sleep, because they might slip. See, I'm worried about something slipping something in my cocktail. Okay. We have important things to worry about. I need to get back to work. I was out of work for a month. I started a new job, but I was self-employed for 31 years. My business is still shut down. I went from being self-employed for 31 years to now I'm working for a company now. Will I ever be self-employed ever again? Okay. I didn't shut my business down. The government shut me down. They told me I was out of business. Okay. And I barely didn't survive. I went almost 5 weeks with no income almost. That was fun. Okay. You get what I'm talking about? That was, oh my gosh. I went from working 6-7 days a week to where I just had lots of time off. I made up for all those years. I never took any time off.
I kept him fed.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, you brought me a taco or two. But anyway. Okay.
Really?
But this, maybe more than a taco. But anyway,
Okay.
This is the problem we have. We have to pull together and work together. Now, what we need to do is solve these problems. And since we have these problems all over the world, what we need to do is figure out how to fix the problem. Now, before somebody goes crazy, remember, you can still eat meat and pork. Even if it's infected, that's why they're not going to recall it, as long as you cook it. Until this virus situation is gone, do not eat any meat undercooked. But you weren't supposed to be eating undercooked meat anyway, right? True? Okay. Now, we haven't had any reports of coronavirus when it comes to fish. Okay. We haven't had any reports yet. But I would just say, maybe I need to put sushi on hold because I could be the world's first victim of eating raw fish and catching coronavirus. You get what I'm talking about?
Like that.
Okay.
I'm
So
saying,
there haven't been any reports of coronavirus rich fish yet, but we just need to put raw things on hold for a while and make sure that everything is cooked.
Yeah.
For right now, right?
Okay.
And you just need to be careful with leafy greens that cannot be cooked. Celery,
Just
lettuce.
Wash everything.
Okay,
Right.
the problem is how you get down in those nooks and crannies.
Well, I mean, you can do as
But
best
that's
as
the
you
only
can.
problem. If that one farm worker's out there sneezing on your lettuce, there is no way to solve that issue as of right now. They make this little container that,
And how long does a virus last on things?
around.
I mean,
It depends on what it's on.
What is-
Some things it can last for 2 to 3 days. Some things it can last for 12 to 14 days. It depends on what it's on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long does it last on? The problem with meat, it can last a very long time because it's meat. That's why it can be in your body for a long time. Okay. On leafy greens, you just need to wash your vegetables the best way you can and do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
On meat, as long as you cook it, you should be able to kill it. Coronavirus hate heat.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just going to fry that meat and just cook the hell out of it. And it should be good to eat that way.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, we're good there.
Excellent. So this is what we're going over today, but they need to solve this problem because if the way we're going, if they keep shutting down the meat processing plants, as I said already, 20% of all of the pork places are already closed. 25%. 15% of all the beef places are already closed. If they keep shutting down the processing plants, we're not going to have any meat in the stores. Right? Maybe that'd be a good time to go on a diet, right? Okay. But we like that carne meat. We need to have that carne. So, but it's not worth eating if you're going to get hundreds of people sick who is processing the meat. And that is why they're having to do this.
Right.
So we need to solve this problem. Okay. And maybe they're going to have to, in the future, go to processing plants like they're doing with making cars and everything else, where they remove the human factor and just have plants that are automated. And then you won't have the problem of that sick worker, right? But then you're going to have meat, but then you won't have hundreds of jobs So then you're still going to starve to death because you're not going to have a job to buy the meat. So it's a
like
catch.
a big circle.
It's like a big circle. Yeah. Okay. So you can have a job and get sick, or you cannot have a job, not get sick, but you don't have no money. I don't have any solution. It's just hell. Life is hell. Okay. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed our discussion today. We're going to try to stay live.